Colombian peace process continues. Violence and crime remain rampant in the country and a parallel challenge for the government. Activists have often faced threats and even been murdered by criminal organizations. As our correspondent Charles Parkinson reports, these cases appear to be on the rise.
Andrea Baca was at home with friends September 28, 2013, when two men arrived and gunned down her husband in front of her. Earlier that day, Oscar Javier Molina had been threatened by men while he carried out his job as an outreach worker with vulnerable people in a drug-infested sector of Bogotá, popularly known as the Bronx. Molina was murdered for attempting to save people from the same drug addiction he escaped more than a decade earlier. His job earned him powerful enemies among the armed groups that control drug trafficking in Bogotá. His killers have never been captured. According to human rights defender Diego Martinez, the ongoing activity of such groups is a key challenge the government must face once peace negotiations with the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia conclude. For Andrea Baca, as long as such groups persist, it is too early to talk of peace in Colombia, even in the event of an agreement being signed in Havana. So while great strides are being made in the peace talks in Cuba, the government still has a huge job ahead of it to tackle violence in the country. The message here is not intended to detract from Colombia's peace process, but to highlight it as a critical first step towards overcoming a legacy of violence that stretches beyond the parameters of the talks. This is Charles Parkinson, Telesur in Bogotá, Colombia.
And thanks to Charles.